Well, that's another meme that cats are like in between states of matter.
Yeah.
They're like
This
half
is
liquid,
accurate.
half solid. Like they're non-Newtonian fluids.
He's ooze.
Black cat.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Games That Made Us podcast. I'm Brent. I'm here with my friend Kirk. Say hi, Kirk.
I don't want to.
Okay. And we're joined as always by our good friend Benny. Say hi, Benny.
I think I'm passing the toxins.
Okay, cool. Wait, hang on. I should have done like a ooh, welcome to the Games That Made Us podcast, and then something like that.
Just
I'm the ghost of Kurt.
the ghost of Christmas past.
I'm the sexy ghost of Christmas past.
That's my Halloween costume this year.
Hell yeah.
The sexy ghost of Christmas past.
It's just the top half is ghost and the bottom is just a mini skirt.
Just do like the Father Christmas costume, but then with
Santa
a
Claus
thong.
on top, and skirt on the bottom.
No, just shirt cock it.
God damn it! Just show a little bit of dick neck.
Yeah.
You know, just tasteful.
What the fuck is dick neck?
Yeah, just let the boober show a little bit.
You just went off the rails.
You know how like ladies have like the tasteful side boob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I'm for guys. We should be able to show just a little bit of dick neck. Just tasteful.
How do we do that?
Not the head. That would be too much.
Do we need like windows in our fucking boxers?
Well, no, just cut the pants down to the point where, like, you've got
Like,
just a little bit of dick.
Yeah, you see like a little bit, like a bottom part of the sack.
Yeah. He's heard the bit too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Wow. That's our strongest open in a while.
We told you it'd be spooky.
So,
I know you're scared.
if you're not scared yet, I don't know what the fuck to do for you. So today, ladies and gentlemen and other pals, we are going to be talking about the games that spooked us. For Halloween, my favorite time of year, when I drink beer and watch horror movies, which is different than the other times of the year when I drink beer and watch horror movies, but people look at me weird while I do it.
Yeah. My favorite time of year, because I buy a bunch of Halloween candy, put it in a nice bowl, but then don't turn my porch light on for trick-or-treaters. I sit there, I look out my window while I eat all the candy and watch all the suckers go by, and I'm like, ha ha ha, eating just like the fun-sized Butterfingers, like these stupid assholes. I have disposable income. Dicks.
What you need to do is wait till they're on your porch and then turn the light off. And just eat a Snickers in the window while they watch you.
So during COVID, which was the most trick-or-treaters we got, was 2020.
Yeah, everyone was broke. They needed to get their nutrition somehow. Trick-or-treating was a way to do it.
But so we put a little like table on our front porch with little like bags of candy that you could come up and like individually grab, and each bag had like 3 candies in it. And then I was like going outside to refill it, and this chick like comes screeching like car screeching to a halt in front of our house, jumps out, and she's like, "My kid didn't get any candy because these teenagers stole all the candy." And then she jumps out of her fucking vehicle and goes sprinting down the street after this group of like 3 kids that are walking down the street with a lot of fucking candy. Like, I care. Like, seriously, like, this is my candy that I bought and I don't give a shit. So what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, okay, I've been 16. Stealing candy is not the worst thing these kids could be doing. Who gives a fuck, right? So then she's like taking off down the street, and I'm sitting there going, they're going to think it's that this person lives here, right? because all of a sudden there's someone chasing them from the fucking house with the candy that they just took. And I'm like, I'm going to get, like, my shit's going to get wrecked because you're being a bitch. And then, sure enough, like, sure as shit, like, come like 3 o'clock in the morning, I had fallen asleep on the couch because Halloween. And I was in my underwear because Halloween. And I hear, like, voices coming from my front yard. And so I run outside wearing just my fucking boxer shorts, and there's like 4 teenagers like standing, like getting ready to, I don't know whether they were going to egg my house or what they were going to do, but it was great because the sight of 37-year-old pot-bellied boxer short wearing fucking motherfucker coming out of his house.
6'5", 6'6", giant Norwegian motherfucker.
Right? Fat, hairy Norwegian dude comes running out of his house. They took off quick. Yeah. I have never seen anyone run so fast. And I was like, okay, all right. I
still got it.
I still got it. I can threaten teenagers.
I think they had that mentality where you didn't need to get all of them. You just needed to get one of them. To make a point.
Yeah.
So I think they all kind of understood that fight or flight kicked in. It's like, oh shit, like we're even if all 4 of them go at you, they're not gonna win. They're gonna lose hard.
You don't need to outrun the Norwegian. You just need to outrun your friends.
Exactly. He's getting one of you, whether you like it or not.
Unless you're
he's not showing up to school the next day.
That's true. Unless they're all football players, they're all just greasy smears on the pavement at that point.
And if they're football players, they're slightly less greasy smears. Like they'll at least walk away.
Hello, guys.
Maybe.
Hi. How we doing? That was an intro.
No.
Dick necks and greasy smears on the
threatening teenagers.
Oh my God. Okay. Whew, I need a deep breath and I need to drink some beer. So let's talk about what we're drinking. Or actually, no. We need to talk about what we've been playing recently because we didn't do that yet.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Me. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom.
And
that game makes me so mad. God damn it.
Do you like it?
I don't know. So, okay. I love Zelda. Zelda is probably my favorite game series. And I had some problems with Breath of the Wild. I'm not... I think Breath of the Wild did some things wrong. If I was in Eiji Onuma's shoes, I would not have made Breath of the Wild. Okay? But one thing that Breath of the Wild did really, really well was it had incredible traversal and just like the sense of space and the sense of like just the wonder of like the spaces that they created in that game are fantastic. And then I guess someone was like, you know what? What if that, but Kerbal Space Program? And I'm like, no, dude. Like, but no, though. Like, Kerbal Space Program is funny. Kerbal Space Program has a sense of humor. Zelda is not that. And then I'm swinging a rusty sword with a fucking pallet on the end of it and firing like fucking Koroks on like rockets across. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's just
yeah, but the memery is top tier. Just like building a 60-story fly swatter to take a dragon out of the sky.
Yeah,
with just the swing your sword is hilarious.
Yeah. I don't
like the automatic like chicken cookers or
I had
the torture devices are a little upsetting, but
it's just like The Sims, right? Like, but yeah, it makes me mad, honestly. And it's Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are the only 2 games ever in my life that I've paid full price for. And I'm beginning to think that my initial, and by initial I mean 35-year rule of not paying full price for a game is probably the correct one. Anyway.
Boy, there's a lot of ennui in that song.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I love Tears
Like a
of the
little
Kingdom,
too bit on the nose. When you really think about it, like, he has a point.
All right, Kirkstein, what have you been playing?
I went back and played a little bit of Stardew Valley. I've been meaning to go back ever since they released that update where you get like the new festival and all
isn't
that.
It's so much fun.
Oh,
I love the like green rain.
Mhm.
That's neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a little bit of the additional, I don't know, items and things you can get. I don't know the word. Yeah. And then again at the festivals and everything like that. So I've been playing through some more of Stardew Valley just so I can experience that. Finally got around to playing WrestleQuest.
Okay.
The wife and I, we like watching wrestling. It's been really bad. It doesn't matter if you like AEW or WWE. It's boring. It's stupid. None of it's fun right now. We're happy there's competition for once, but like it's so bad. I miss Adam Cole. He would probably like our podcast. He's a huge gaming nerd too. He's always, like when he's not wrestling, because he plays these on Twitch all the time.
Nice.
So I've been playing WrestleQuest, which is like a JRPG,
Okay.
but wrestling, and it's funny the sprites of the characters. Like it's one of them's clearly like Macho Man Randy Savage, so it's really funny. Like even though there's really no voice acting, you read it, but in your head, you're reading it as Macho Man
Randy Savage.
So I've been having a lot of fun with that, and then of course Destiny here and there.
Okay.
Just for their newer, more episodic content, which has gotten some negative reviews, some positive reviews. I think just there's yet another round of layoffs and their CEO basically being exposed as a complete shithead human being.
I'm so sad that just like consuming materials, like consuming content in 2024 requires you to know like corporate structures and shit. Like I shouldn't need to know like this TV show is on this platform because of this corporate merger, or like this fucking video game has like this corporate layoff.
In Bungie's case, it's like, okay, so the CEO spent like $3 million on just cars in the past like 2 years or something crazy like that, and it's like your studio is going under. You know the books because you're the fucking CEO.
Right.
How do you not give a shit? How do you keep spending money on these things instead of saving the studio, which is giving you the money to begin with?
Yeah, to Brent's point, like there shouldn't be an ethic, like an ethics to consuming content the way it currently exists.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have to do a moral calculus before I consume content to decide whether or not I'm going to continue to help platform your shittiness.
Right.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Every day,
Like
every billionaire wakes up and decides, you know what? I could make sure no kid starves to death in America today, but I'm busy.
It costs nothing to
I've
be a
been
good
eyeing
person.
this other Maserati.
And I live by that.
Truth. The game I have been playing is actually fortunate for this episode.
Oh, dude.
So I always, like when I play games with my wife, usually they're horror themed
Okay.
because that's like her deal. Like
Yeah.
that's her favorite genre of pretty much everything. So
I respect that.
I've been playing.
That was another one of the games I was playing recently, was Killing Frequency, because I started playing that game because of you and Abby playing it. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll shut up now.
it's okay.
But I finally remembered because I was like, there was another game I was playing recently. It was WrestleQuest Destiny, and then I'm like, Killing Frequency. It was on sale recently.
I know. I saw that. I should have sent that out on Discord.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
derail
that's okay.
shit.
No, because that's actually,
Please.
that's also a good segue because it dovetails, Kirk. Well, I'm going to do it every time now.
Not to get too far inside baseball.
Horror.
Fucking, there's always a word we latch onto.
I think it's just people.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, speaking of horror set in the Pacific Northwest, we started playing. Yes, Brent.
Is it that something drive?
No, but
game?
I want to get that.
Yeah,
I'm going to get that. In fact, I almost did, but
Yeah.
we started playing Alan Wake,
Oh, yeah, that's
such
a good
game.
one.
which is actually I played it a little bit, but I'd only gotten through like I don't know why I didn't get very far before,
Yeah.
but it's great. That game's 10 years old now.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like 14 years old.
I'm surprised-
Amazing soundtrack.
that-
Amazing soundtrack.
It feels like a game that I'm surprised that it's taking you this long to get to it because it feels like it would be right up your alley.
It is, and it's just kind of I just managed to skirt around it somehow on the periphery of a genre that really is gameplay and subject matter wise, like it really is good for me.
Yeah.
In fact, it has a lot of.
Was it good for you?
It has a lot of
Yes.
similarities with like. Actually, now that I think about it, I didn't put mine in order. My games for this episode, so I need to triage that real quick. So someone will need to go first.
Okay.
But it has a lot of similarities with at least one of the games on my list.
Yeah.
In some ways, the gameplay works. I didn't realize how I didn't know how good it actually is.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of like it didn't exactly know what it wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little bit all over the place in some ways, but it doesn't do anything particularly poorly.
No.
So I think it's really good. It's fun.
Yeah. I like. It's one of those games that I feel like the.
We're still working on finishing it, by the way, so no spoilers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For me.
It feels like a game in service to plot rather than the other way around.
So you haven't got to like American Nightmare or anything like that, right?
No.
Okay, just
Yeah.
because I think they kind of treat that as a standalone too, or yeah, I think they do. Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But yeah, really
But
good
I
game.
just-
We're on the final chapter of the game right
Okay,
now. So.
okay.
Of the main game. We've just been taking our time. We've been both really busy with
Yeah.
work, so we'll play a chapter a night.
It's very appropriate because it's very cinematic.
Yeah.
The game
It
is very
very much
cinematic.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Very appropriate. Like,
It's actually got a lot of similarities to Killer Frequency in some ways. Like there's a radio station and like mysterious killers kind of things. I don't know. It's. I've been really enjoying it.
I want to play the second one. I haven't gotten around to that yet.
yeah.
Came out late last year. I didn't realize it was so recent until we started playing this, and we're starting to like kind of plan to continue it.
Yep. It looks really good. So today it's our spooky episode. The games that spooked us. I don't know why I'm doing that voice.
This podcast hasn't existed in 30 years.
That was so dumb. So we're going to be talking about our favorite horror or spooky themed games. And I do make the distinction there because I've got some games that aren't really scary at all, but they are, in big air quotes, spooky themed or horror themed.
Okay, I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Playing fast and loose with the rules.
Exactly.
If you're upset about that now, then you need to get the fuck out because where have you been?
Right. I was going to say, if you think that we have any sort of planning capability
Or scruples.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We clearly don't care about being monetized.
Oh,
God
Jesus.
damn it.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's so accurate.
we don't do this as a career. We do it for fun. There's a big difference in this world.
Yeah,
That said, if you want to give us money to do stuff.
oh, dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
if you
totally
wanna-
give us money.
You don't even. It doesn't even have to be podcast related. If you just want to send me some money, like just
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
I'll start an OnlyFans for you. It's
We
yeah.
we made the joke about Manscaped. I did buy their lawnmower like fucking 5.0. Joke's on you. I fucking love it. I spent that $100 or it was like $109 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually really fucking awesome.
Wait, are you
Because
snagging your sack or not?
No,
there you go.
Like, no, a lot of people are just like, okay, Gillette and all these other big companies, they make ones that are like half as much, but they're like, you get what you pay for, and it
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
shows.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Number 3.
Now, Doki Doki Literature Club does sound like something that I came up with during a psychosis, and kind of feels like it when you play it too. It's a relatively modern visual novel, like Japanese style visual novel, that sort of purports itself to be a dating sim, and then it goes really off the rails.
Rapid, aggressive turn into left field.
oh yeah.
And it's got a really great sort of meta horror bent to it that I won't
Absolutely.
spoil. the base version of the game is available for free on Steam. Go pick it up, play it. If you have, I will say now, if you have any like I guess content warning, there's like suicide and
unalive or whatever YouTube wants you to say.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a very dark game, but it's definitely a game that I don't know, like it really caught me. It really like got me to like, after playing it, I needed to just kind of sit and in a dark room and think about things and feel feelings for a while. So if that's your cup of tea as far as horror goes, I would definitely recommend it. Also, the ending credits song is one of the catchiest and perkiest bits of video game music ever. It reminds me of that, was it Garfunkel and Oates? Like yeah, like it's got that kind of vibe to it.
I imagine a future where I can be with you. In my hand is a pen that will write a poem of me and you. The ink flows down into a dark puddle. Just move your hand right the way into his heart. But in this world of infinite choices, what will it take just to find that special day? What will it take just to find that special day?
So, yeah.
There is DLC, but if you're a horror fan, it's the DLC is not horror related at all. It's more about mental health and mental awareness and caring and taking care of others as well as taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
It's very uplifting, very heartwarming too at the same time, if that's your jam. Pretty cheesy, but yes.
Yeah. A little bit of fan servicey too.
Oh yeah, pretty fan servicey too.
So like
especially the artwork. Like
yeah.
Did you come on? Like
yeah.
Did you have to?
Like yeah.
And
just because you can doesn't mean you should.
And shocking no one, my first play through the game, I romanced the shy, big-titted girl, which turns out is the worst path through the game. So that might have something to do with my feelings on the game. But
Sayori, or is that
no,
Monica?
No.
Or is that
Yuri.
Monica? Yuri.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sayori is the wait, is Sayori
the pink-haired girl? I think
that's right.
Yeah. And Yuri's the purple-haired girl, and Monica's the red-haired girl.
Monica,
Yeah.
Sayori, and
Scrappy Doo.
Kirk is borrowing from other content for that one.
Hey, I'm in Brent's head, so
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
true.
doing what his poison fucking synapses is telling me to do.
But yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club, like I say, it's free. If you like horror and if you're okay with some of the content, heavily recommend. And yeah, it kind of got me into visual novels. That's something I've been playing more since then, because I had sort of dismissed them as a genre prior to that. Korkelstein.
Number 3.
Silent Hill 2, the original Silent Hill 2 for the PS2.
Yes.
It's one of the first games as a young man where I, like any other game at that point, was never. They had gore and blood and whatever, but never could really grasp terror and like that panic-inducing anxiety through the screen. I mean, obviously, going back and playing it as a grown man, not the same effect anymore.
Sure.
Especially with my 2 and 1 picks. But Silent Hill 2 in specific was the first game where I'm like, I need to turn this game off and I have to take a break. And that wasn't my parents telling me to take a break. That was me mentally going,
Yeah.
You're not fully ready for this.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it seems so quaint, but back in the day it was the one for me. It's like, okay, I need to, like, let's dial it back. Like, maybe I've been watching too many horror movies and I can't sleep very well kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
When you're a kid, where it's just like, oh shit, maybe there is something under my bed. Like that kind of terror. Go out, play it. Even the act of like pulling out and dusting off an old PS2, blowing on it, like, oh, you used to play this back in my day. Don't go down that rod,
Dude. The
fucking Pet Cemetery and fucking. There's a lot of people killed down that rod.
it's an old Micmac Indian background.
It puts in the disc, and people are like, "What's a disc?" And like even the act of spinning that old game up. I hear they're remaking it.
Yes,
and it's supposed to come out. Which
Bluebird Team's doing it.
Yeah, I have high hopes, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get into it. Maybe I won't, because I think Silent Hill.
Gandalf. I was there 1,000 years ago.
Silent Hill has always been more of a psychological horror, whereas you got. Well, I'll go into it with my 2-in-1s, but they kind of lean more into the realistic horror, like things that can actually happen. Where Silent Hill is a little more leans to in the mystical slash psychological / borderline far-fetched, because it's so surreal in comparison. Not saying that's a bad thing. That's where it lands where it is here, and I wonder how they are going to translate that into the remake. I think with more modern graphics and better hardware, obviously they can really flesh that out, but who knows.
So I'll be honest, I've never played Silent Hill.
That's fine. A lot of people haven't.
I didn't have the platform to play. Like, the original one was on PlayStation, correct?
Yeah, the first one was on PlayStation.
I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, and I never ended up picking up a copy of it. So I've actually never played it.
I've never personally owned it. I always played it at friends' houses. In fact, I wouldn't own a PlayStation 2 until like fucking... Fun fact, I owned a PlayStation 3 before I owned a PlayStation 2.
I think getting some PlayStation games are like very accessible, like used copies on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
I think Silent Hill is not one of them. I think it's extraordinarily expensive.
That's probably, and I can understand why. I feel like if you have a copy, you're not selling it.
Right.
Because it is one of those just hard-hitting kind of... Well, obviously, if it's on my 3, it's got to be on a lot of people's top games, too. You look at Metacritic or whatever the hell you want, or IGN. Well, IGN is just a dumpster fire nowadays, but back in the day, it was kind of legit, or Game Informer, whatever you want to use. So I can see that, why it's harder to buy a physical copy of the game, because, again, if you have it, you're probably not selling it.
Yeah, it's like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Yep.
Brent, you walked out. I don't know if you heard that. I've actually never played Silent Hill.
He went to go take a spooky piss.
But I'd like to. I mentioned it before. I missed the PlayStation 1 era. I was on Nintendo 64, and then I actually went to the Dreamcast, which I still have my Dreamcast, and then I got a PlayStation 2. And I never, even though it was backwards compatible, I never ended up playing that one. And now it's almost inaccessible without like going with like a PC port. Yeah. Because I just looked it up. It's like hundreds of dollars for a copy of Silent Hill.
Oh, dude, just emulate it. I mean, it emulates well on everything.
But Brent, that's illegal. Will the police come arrest me and tickle me?
I don't. The nice thing about
They'll tickle you with riot batons.
The nice thing
We're
about
tickling you. Whack, whack.
The nice thing about Silent Hill is that Big Daddy Nintendo doesn't care.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
So
The one guy out there in the room that's like the one mean bouncer in the bar that's like eyeing you from across the room, like, I'm not even doing anything.
the first one, the second one is less inaccessible to me in the modern day. The first one, the control scheme, is a problem.
Yeah, that's actually the main reason I never really cared for the first one. But the second one leaned more heavily into the psychological terror in my mind. And because of the graphical advantages at the time, could flesh that out better.
Yeah.
So that, and again, it could just be me in that time period of two, when that game came out and where I was in my particular point of life, why it hit so hard. But I remember even my friends were just like, "Fucking, we don't want to play it anymore."
Yeah,
because it's terrifying.
What's the girl?
I know it's an upsetting game.
In town, like you meet her right away, and then like you later on you get to like see her her prison, kind of.
Yeah, I don't remember that. It's been so like it's
Yeah.
probably been a better part of
Her-
20 years since I've actually played it.
Her story is like fucked with me the most. But yeah, it's a damn good game. With them remaking the second one, I hope that at some point they go back and remake the first one because I feel like that one really could use it.
I think they're taking a play out of Resident Evil's book, and they know like there is a fan base for it. Not only a fan base, but just people in general who want more of these games anymore because it's gotten so action oriented anymore.
Yeah,
instead of true horror and terror, where like people have been trying, but they haven't been able to get it right.
Yeah, the Team Silent era Silent Hill games are something special.
Don't ever watch the movie though; it's so bad.
Oh, I disagree.
I thought it sucked. I thought it was
really
so
liked the
hokey
movie.
and stupid. I hated it.
I mean, it is both of those things, but like,
Just like the Resident Evil movies, they're just horrible. They're
those are
horrible.
bad. But I like
Kind
that's
of enjoy those.
I was gonna say I like watching them, but they're dumb.
I don't consider them canon. They don't even they don't even feel like Resident Evil.
They don't. Yeah, they don't even attempt really to stay with the story. But the Silent Hill movie, the first one anyway, like it's goofy and dumb at points, but so are the Silent Hill games. Like they're goofy and dumb at points too. Like
Okay.
What I'll say is, you need to have a certain mindset to watch the movie. I would blanket recommend the games to anybody who likes horror games.
Or at least play the games first and then play the movie.
Yeah, that's
Or watch the movie. Yeah.
that's 100% accurate.
I feel like if you watch the movie first, you're going to be like, well, this is dumb, so I don't want to play the games. I'm sorry.
Number 3.
I think I decided that my number 3 is actually going to be Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh yeah,
Probably one of my favorite soundtracks.
It's
so fun.
It's the cutest, like in terms of like music and sprites and like their little walk cycles and everything. It's so cute.
Even the box art with the very campies. Oh, I fucking love it.
It's a surprisingly difficult game. It's not easy. And oh god, Brent just took a shot of straight poison, and he's grimacing like he did too.
Yeah.
As you should.
I think that I love this game.
Fucking
Even though,
solidarity. Give me one.
all right, let's make this shit happen.
Let's
God,
poison ourselves and get warm for no reason. Again.
Yeah. I haven't been sweating for a bit. Oh no.
Yeah, I haven't been sweating
Oh,
for an
no.
hour.
That was too much. Don't feel the need to drink all that.
Maybe this is Chinese weight loss drug. It's just meant to make you sweat.
It's just gonna melt there's gonna be sacks of subcutaneous
It
fat.
just goes through the bottom of the glass.
Kampai.
See you later.
It's warmed up.
Why?
Now it's warmed up. That's how I had it the first time.
Oh.
It's like somebody fucked the opening of a bottle of Pledge.
It's like somebody farted through a banana.
In your mouth.
Why?
So anyway, Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
It's so cute.
Somebody punctured
Unlike-
a bottle of Lysol, then used the
This is like-
spray as lube.
This is like Hot Ones. Oh, God. But for video games and with Baijiu.
It's actually a really good idea, by the way. Let's trademark that shit immediately. That can make so much money.
Except it's gross ones.
Do you still have those corn nuts? Is there any left?
God, why does it taste like chemicals?
Because it's chemicals.
I mean, like,
It's not meant for human
the fuck?
consumption.
I feel like I just
God.
drink pesticide.
I don't, it's like dusty.
It is dusty.
Yeah. God damn it.
No, you said cement earlier, and that was the best. That woke me up though. I was starting to like fade a little bit, and like I'm awake now. Not for good reasons. It's not like caffeine.
Kirk is like moving around.
I need to get more beer to do.
Anyway,
Zombies Ate My
Ate My
Neighbors, very cute.
It's super cute. It's fun. The gameplay is solid. It's real hard.
It is really hard.
It's a tough game.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It is. I love the like the squirt gun with the holy water in it, right?
Yes.
It's the best.
Well, and it's one of the few.
It sticks in my brain from childhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the. Okay, so question: did you play it on the Genesis? Then is that
Super Nintendo only.
okay? Okay.
Even though I had a Genesis, but I
Yeah.
didn't own it. I played on a cousin's Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Was there a Genesis?
Yeah, there was
version?
a Genesis
Oh,
port.
I only played it on Super Nintendo. I have friends.
Yeah. It's available on both platforms. Okay. Yeah, I was curious
Okay.
about that.
Okay. Yeah. I
Simple, sweet, cute, sticks in my brain.
the soundtrack still.
Oh my God,
I will
yeah.
pound that into the ground and keep repeating it. That. Oh my God.
I love
Soundtrack to the game was amazing.
I love the goofiness of it. It feels very like if you want a game that captures the vibe of like 80s.
Thriller.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
such a good comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Thriller music video
Yeah.
is fucking Zombies Ain't My Neighbors. That's
Yeah.
such a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got all the camp of the late 80s, early 90s
Yeah.
in terms of horror. Like the not yet zombified denizens of the town as you encounter them, and they're like their terror, but it's cute even though they're dying. It's great.
One of my favorite movies is The Burbs, and I've always said that Zombies Ain't My Neighbors has like that vibe. Like it's got the like goofiness. There's the guy who's like in Zombies Ain't My Neighbors you're trying to rescue the non-zombified people from and it's like a sort of twin sticky kind of like top-down shooter kind of thing. You're trying to rescue the not zombified members, like people in your town, your neighbors, from zombies. Hey, it says it right in the title.
And it's all this like suburban scenery. So like
Yeah.
you're walking down like the streets and like going around hedgerows and like zombies are coming, like you're behind houses in like the suburbs, and so like there's trash cans and like everything you imagine in an 80s movie that takes place in the suburbs you will see.
Yes.
There's a mall,
But there's a guy who, because the neighbors are the same in each level, and there's a guy who's like in full like World War II military garb, and that always makes me think of the dude from The Burbs.
Mm-hmm. What's the actor's name?
Bruce Dern.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Dern's dad.
He slips on the dog shits.
Which is so weird to me because I'm like, I had such a crush on Laura Dern as a kid, and like then I see Bruce Dern, I'm like, no, don't. No, that's icky. Yeah, that's such a good game. That's such a good pick.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Because it's hard?
It is very hard. I love, one of my very favorite video game series is the Makai Mora series, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts. I fell in love with it originally, like, in an arcade cabinet when I was a kid, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts is a game that, oh my god, hang on, 1 second, sorry.
Yeah, like,
I have a thing I want to show you.
so Oliver fan, I'm trying to figure out like what Brent is going with here, because I'm like, this is the games that spooked us, not games that wanted us to fucking throw our console across the room. Is that the spooky part? Is the loss of financial stability?
If you've ever played this game, you tomahawked a controller across the room, I guarantee
Oh
it.
yeah, you punched your sister whether you had one or not.
Hell yes. You punched somebody's sister. Okay.
But
I'm going to show this to the guys.
I'm waiting for the spookiness here.
Oh, are you fucking kidding? It's adorably spooky. It's in the same
It
vein
absolutely is.
Yeah,
It's just maddening.
Okay. So I have
maybe my view is diluted because when I hear that is just fury. I don't think cute. I don't think cute. I don't think scary. I think I'm gonna kill somebody.
We
maybe
talked about
that's
it.
the spooky part.
We talked about it during Shovel Knight. I am not first and foremost a platformer by specialty,
Yeah.
and that game is so hard for me. If Kirk's like, this game is infuriating, then this game is just impossible
Even with
for
save
me.
states, it's so fucking frustrating.
Yeah. Well, you basically have to memorize the game.
Yeah.
There's really no other way. It's not a reaction time game.
So
it's
like
a memorization game.
in terms of platformers, like when we did Shovel Knight,
Yeah.
because there are some similarities here, we could draw some similarities.
Shovel Knight is a cute
You
kitten,
can jump-
and this is like Satan's asshole.
Yeah.
So in Shovel Knight, when you jump and then you realize that you've made an error,
Yeah.
you can change the direction. You can control your jump. You have air control
Or at least down attack, too.
in down attack in Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And
No.
like you could, once you jump, you've committed to what's happening. So you have to be perfect in everything you do. Pretty much.
It's like the Adventure Island games and a lot of other pre-Mario World or Mario Brothers games, in that there's no mid-air physics. Once you've hit the jump button, you're going the direction you were going when you're doing it.
Fuck the water raft level where you're
That
on the
one's
skulls.
tough.
Fuck that. Fuck
one's
that
tough.
fucking level so much. If anything in this world is going to be the death of me, it's not going to be fucking cancer or alcoholism or a gunshot wound to the chest from a mugger. It's going to be this game. This game is going to find a way to stress me out so much. Just thinking about it is pissing me off.
One of the things that I think Super Ghouls and Ghosts does,
My heart's going to stop.
the problem with it is that the first level is one of the harder levels in the game.
It is really, really hard.
Yeah, and like that's a problem. Like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to like introduce mechanics.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like the water level, there's less enemies proper. It's more environmental hazards in that level than there is with the very first level. The very first level is a lot of actual enemies on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah, there's
I guess
a
I
lot
never
of
thought of it that way.
There's a lot of unpredictability in the first level. Like the platforms like rise up out of nowhere, enemies pop out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
They rise back. It's just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, I brought this thing out. Now I'll take some pictures of it for the
Brent popped out his Playboy from 19.
He's showing a little bit of tasteful dick neck right now.
little tasteful thing.
like a little
This
bit of bottom
is,
sack.
I have this. This is the Super Nintendo Player's Guide. If you're a hardcore Super Nintendo nerd like I am, this is like required reading. When I was 7 and my dad brought home a Super Nintendo, he brought home the Super Nintendo, which came with Super Mario World. He brought home King of the Monsters, because my dad and I both really liked Godzilla, and he thought it was a Godzilla game. It's not. It's a terrible wrestling game. And he brought home a copy of this, the Super Nintendo Player's Guide. And so for the first, I don't know.
Is this your original?
No, I lost that one in the flood, but this is,
no.
I did replace it. But for the first, I don't know how long that I had a Super Nintendo,
Brent's passing around the book.
I had this book, and we only had the 2 games. The second game in the guide is Super Ghouls and Ghosts. And so I couldn't play it. I could just stare at it. And
This is awesome.
right?
This completely ignores the fact that it's impossible.
It is not impossible.
I'm just being a shithead. Are you taking more of that toxic garbage?
My
Possibly.
God, Brent, like, Jesus.
I'm not taking another one. Kirk.
No, I'm
I
not.
have
No,
I have
no,
shit
no,
to do
no, no,
today.
Yeah, I gotta go to a fucking car lot and all the shit by 4.
Oh, so
and then feed the wife at some point.
So this is awesome. Like I'm looking at this guide that Brent handed over to us, and it's the Super NES Nintendo Player's Guide, and it seems to be kind of like review and guide all in one.
Yep.
So like the cover page is like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Guinevere has been kidnapped, and then it's like Capcom scores heavily with one of the best Super NES games so far. But then it's like full of guides. But the thing I want to point out is like. Sorry,
I was gonna say it's like very Game Informer-esque.
Yeah.
It is, except it leans heavily into the guide.
Except this one died sooner.
I'm gonna point. I'll you look at this. It's got like a longitudinal view of the entire level.
Yes.
So like you can see like the layout of the entire level from start to finish, and that's cool. and it's hard to do that. Like even in
They were
like
all
wide, like
photos
even
of
like ultra,
TVs.
sure,
Yeah.
even like ultra widescreen today, you wouldn't get the kind of fidelity you get in this.
So
Easily.
the technology to do that back in that day when that came out would have been very difficult. So yeah, mad respect. Yeah, I was seeing it.
Okay.
When they were, thumbs
It's
it.
just it's cool as shit the way that they've got this laid out. Like,
Yeah.
because you need, like Brent said, you have to memorize this because the game is insane.
Yeah, the game's an asshole.
It is in every way as cute as Zombies Ate My Neighbors, or very nearly as.
Yeah.
It's not as cutesy, but it's got a lot of the same charm.
The key art for it is absolutely adorable. I love when he gets hit, you see his underwear.
yeah.
Yeah.
The armor just shatters off of him.
I love how these guys are talking about this game like it's so quaint. I'm like, this is a game I'd give it to an enemy. Like, oh yeah,
I mean-
you see his underwear. Ah, that's so good. Look at this gear. I'm like, no, I would give this game to somebody if they pissed me off. Yeah,
yeah. And for whatever reason, I just love it, and I love the series. I really don't like the last two, which are the ones that are kind of nicer in terms of their treatment of the player. But I love this game. I love the Genesis Ghouls and Ghosts. It's a great port of the arcade and the original Ghosts and Goblins. The only one I wouldn't play is the NES Ghosts and Goblins. It kind of sucks.
It's also super insanely crazy hard.
Oh yeah, and totally broken. The only thing that I really hate about this series is the you have to play it twice to beat it.
That's such a fucking just. Oh, I don't know.
But it's got so
That's
much
the horror
replay
part of
value.
it. How hard is it to piss Kirk off?
But just cute little zombies and cute
I
little
love me some
monsters.
platformers, but fuck this series. Like, god damn it.
If you like cute little monsters and don't like yourself, play Super Ghouls.
Yeah.
Kirk, would you rather play Super Ghosts and Goblins or whatever, or punch a small child? I'd be like, find me a child.
Oh,
Just any child.
Would
doesn't
you rather
matter.
play this, or would you rather me punch you in the nuts in your dick neck?
Yeah, that.
Okay. Kirk,
Spooky nuts. Right.
spooky corn nuts.
Yeah. No, that is a good game, but still, just god damn.
I like all that, and then it's just like, what? Yeah, that's actually.
It's solid platform, but goddamn, like the difficulty curve, it was in that era of I'm gonna keep. I want to bitch about this for a little bit.
Yeah, man.
It came in that time of the difficulty curve where how the Japanese played games was not the same as the expectation for the Western audience.
Yeah,
Where
well,
the
it was an
Japanese were
arcade
dumbing
game,
down
really.
games
Yeah.
so the Western audience could play it because they really didn't have these types of games.
Yeah,
That is a testament to that very fact.
yeah.
Where that was a no holes barred, fuck you.
They
You
did
either
not bar
win or
even a
die.
single hole in
Yeah.
the fucking of you. That's true.
Yeah, they were just like, no, we don't care where you are at in the world. You play this fucking
A
game.
bean cushion.
Yes,
We haven't reached coked out. Hideo
they
Kojima-
DP'd you real hard during that fucking game.
We haven't reached coked out Kojima yet.
Yeah,
We had other. Oh shit. We had other guys underneath that who were just like, no, fuck these stupid Americans. They're gonna play the hardest version of this possible. Like everybody else, we're a world, and you will learn. God damn. Still.
Revenge for World War II, the video game.
Jesus.
Kinda. I mean, when you think about it, he wasn't
Yeah.
a samurai. He was a fucking 14th century knight, basically.
Arthur. Love Arthur.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah. They could have made him like a samurai to be more period appropriate for Japan. They're like, no, let's make these Westerners fucking pay.
Yeah.
Oh boy, did they do that.
All right.
I'll never forgive you. I'm just kidding. No, okay. No. Sorry. We got to stay on track.
Number 2.
Number 2 for me is Dead Space, either the 2008 original or the 2023 remake. Both absolutely fantastic games. The 2008 was an absolute sleeper hit because even 20 plus years ago, you slap EA in front of anything, people are like, oh, well,
Yeah, that'll suck.
good luck. Yeah. No, it ended up being an amazing sleeper hit, critically acclaimed, one of the best horror games to ever be made. The new remake they released last year is just as fantastic and very faithful to the original, with some extra mechanics here and there, but they made it make sense considering the environment and what was going on. Obviously, the hardware limitations at the time when the game originally came out kind of...
I think they improved
Yes.
the navigation of some of the environments.
Yeah, the zero G in specific.
Yes,
Not that it
major
was
improvement.
difficult in the original. The newest one, again, I think that was more of a hardware limitation because a lot of those were indoor / pseudo outdoor, like a busted part of the ship, where this one, the newest one, will do full outdoor arenas because they were able to perfect that mechanic. Very solid. Scares the shit out of me. I hate just... It's the game that made me look behind me and check every little thing everywhere I went. It was the first game to make me do that, where I don't care if I've been in this area a million times. I'm going to walk around every table. I'm going to walk around every chair. I'm going to check every fucking corner. Because if you don't, and even when you're checking, something's going to pop out of a vent or pop out of a ceiling tile or pop out of the floor and fucking attack you.
Yep.
Oh, and
Amazing game.
the air vent that was safe the last time you passed is a threat this time.
Yes.
Yep.
So Dead Space is actually one of mine too.
Very cool. Which one?
It was actually my first. Right on. I love Dead Space, and especially the remake from last year. That was from 2023. That polished off all of the roughest edges of the game, like we said. Like so what you were talking about earlier, just for in quick description, in the original version of the game, in the I almost said 3D, in the 0G sections of the game.
Yeah.
You could navigate 0G spaces, but you do it by jumping from surface to surface. So like you'd look up and you'd target a place you wanted to land and you jump to that. And Isaac would jump across the room and he'd fly in 0G and then he'd flip and like land kind of like a Olympic swimmer.
And,
on
you'd
the
have like
platform.
mag boots to like lash them to the floor.
But you were
to
always
reorientate them.
You were always attached to something. So in this new version, you have complete control in the 3D space with your with like boosters and stuff, and you can actually like fly around in 0G, and
you can still land the same way with your mag boots if you wanted to keep that old school you want to do it.
But the free exploration is much better, and I think it makes some of those fights better too, because there are fights where some of the enemies also jump around in 0G, and they use the full, especially like the little demon space dead babies, are terrifying enemies, and they're fucking obnoxious.
But I like how they kept it realistic, where those enemies are still bound by the laws of technology, where if they dive, they still have to land on something.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, where you have your technology in your spacesuit and you can reorient yourself to fire on something. They obviously can't. They need to be a little more stationary to do that.
So they're like the conservation
the immersion of that
like,
to make physics work. It's great.
Yeah, like the Newtonian physics, where like an object in motion remains in motion. If they jump, they're going to go until they hit something. So it is pretty cool. I think it's I love that they also really overhauled the visuals of the game too. Like it's so much prettier than the original, and the original wasn't bad. It was constrained by the hardware that it existed on. And I don't. We talked about Dead Space when we did Fear.
A little bit, yeah.
Brent, I don't remember. Did you play Dead Space, Brent?
I've played a little bit of it. I've never gotten very far into it.
If I remember correctly, we used it as an example
It's really good.
Yeah.
We used it as an example, if I remember correctly, of environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, what game does environment perfectly?
Yeah.
Perfectly. Dead Space.
It really does.
Yeah.
You will thank yourself if you finish it, Brent.
Okay.
I promise you.
Yeah.
There's a reason it was my number one.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite horror game, bar none.
My
I'll probably talk about
number one was
something.
like they were so close.
Yeah.
Just
I
I,
could talk about it.
I don't want to like get redundant, so I just want to talk about all
Yeah,
of my
go
stuff
for
now,
it.
and then I'll promote something else.
Yeah,
in my number
yeah.
one, I think it's one of the best horror games ever made.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, I think it learned all the lessons from horror cinema
Yeah.
and from the things that came before it. Like
Well, I mean,
I
John
don't-
Carpenter's been saying forever
Sure.
that he wants to make a movie.
oh yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
during that episode.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great movie, but I still love the movie Event Horizon. It's got a lot of problems,
That is a lot like Event Horizon, yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's an upsetting, unsettling, scary movie
Yeah.
that takes place in the future on a spaceship.
Yeah.
And since then, there have been some other examples that I'm actually kind of blanking on right now that have done it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think any of them have quite captured the like hell accessed via space travel
Yeah.
thing the way that like
Because
Well,
none
like-
of them
like,
have
there's
had
like-
Sam Neill in it.
there's yeah, I mean there's Event Horizon the film with Sam Neill, like
Yeah.
you said. There's and Sam Neill plays a fantastic protagonist turned like villain in that. It's
good.
great.
Sam Neill is so good in horror. Like,
Yes.
I'm thinking of In the Mouth of Madness, the Carpenter
Yeah.
movie.
That
Sam
one's
Neill's-
so it
So
so
good.
defies description. That movie's great.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Um
I saw the chick from it in an
It's
episode
so-
of ER, and I just like kept expecting her to like drop backwards and start spider walking around the room.
it uses all of not to derail too much, but like that movie uses what's the writer that I'm thinking of, the source material for like all of
Stephen
that.
King.
No, well, Stephen King, but even before that,
Lovecraft.
yeah, that leverages the Lovecraftian element so well, which actually is not a terrible segue, or is not a terrible way to lead back to that, because I think there's some
Yeah.
Lovecraftian elements in Dead Space as well.
For sure.
But
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like there's tentacles everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, give
just
me a break.
giant ethereal space monsters. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that
Horrors
it
beyond
learned
comprehension.
Yes.
exactly madness.
Yeah.
In fact, that's like a heavy element to the game
Yeah.
as well. But I think that it learned the lessons as well as anybody did with a AAA budget. Or was it a AAA title? I can't remember where that lies in terms of
The
production
original,
value.
I don't
It feels
remember
like it.
for sure. I think they just needed a publisher to get it out there, and even someone as stupid as EA was just like, this is
Yeah.
probably going to be a hit. I'm kicking myself because I can't remember the name of the original developer.
Yeah.
But everyone was calling it the sleeper hit of the decade, and that shows because the game was so popular. Well, they fucking made a remake of it in 2023, so it obviously had that market and cultural impact where it's like, this is, we really need to do it right.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect for games that spooked us as a
Yes.
concept. You never feel safe. You never feel at ease. You never have a moment of rest.
No matter how many times you play it, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no matter how many new game plus doesn't matter. You are still just as
Also,
cautious the
Yeah.
first time.
I
Or
have
as was the first
to
time.
I have to give it credit for one of the strongest openings of any game as well. Like the first 10 minutes of the game,
Yeah.
you know exactly what kind of game you're playing, and it's so cinematic and great.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't played it, because if you are a gamer and you're listening and you go and play this and you haven't, I'm not going to give away in any of those elements, but like it lets you know what it is, and then it becomes frantic and unsettling and scary pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And there's no way you'll be ready for it.
They build tension and a hurry in
Yeah.
the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
Tension and urgency.
Yeah.
And
and mystery.
and the mechanics. It's such a unique mechanic.
Yeah.
Like it's it's Fruit Ninja, but for space demons before there's Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
I've never heard it called that, but that makes sense.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's right.
For all of our fan, it's not as if you can just shoot these creatures in the head.
Yeah.
Part of the mechanic is, disabling them is the most effective way of killing them. So shooting off their limbs, which is their primary source of being able to attack you. And if you get rid of their source to attack you, they're a non-combatant.
It's well known now, but at the time, that was actually a part of the game's appeal.
Yeah.
Was that it kind of changed things up a bit, because up until then, your priority in terms of like targeting for like 3D, like first person and even third person shooters, like your let's say Halo or Destiny or Gears of War, like as big AAA titles, you shoot for the head. Obviously, like it's zombie mechanics, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly the wrong approach for this game.
Yeah. Like but you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
Well, and I love the fact because like most video games, it doesn't matter what the backstory of your character is. As soon as the game starts, they automatically become belly badass, the 10-year veteran soldier. This is not that. Like he's an engineer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's using engineering tools to get through the
Isaac
situation.
he's an engineer, he's not a soldier, and he's using cutting tools, which is meant to help repair ships to dismember these enemies.
In fact, he starts getting armor modifications that he finds throughout the game that starts slowly changing his armor, or basically his spacesuit, his EVA suit that's meant for mobility and being an engineer into a combatant towards the end. I love the visual element of that. And you start out, all of your weapons are tools.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're saws, they're cutters, they're meant to do work. They're not meant to
maim.
They're not meant for violence, although they do fantastic work in that way.
Yeah.
And then you start slowly getting weapons and not just tools. And so the progression of the game tells you about the progression of the character.
But even then, those weapons, like you get a pulse rifle, but is that a very effective weapon? No, not really. It really isn't. So a weapon a soldier would use actually is kind of one of the worst weapons in the game.
It is one of the worst. I think it's effective against exactly one enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So I like that balance. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I know we lingered on this one a bit, but because
it was just number one.
Yeah. No, you're good, man. Like, no, that's perfect. No, I mean, I don't think we ever need to apologize for having a good conversation. It's a podcast.
Hey everybody, Future Brent here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. We've got about another hour of conversation where we go over Benny's number 2, and then all the guys, we're going to talk about our first and our honorable mentions. I hope you guys enjoyed this part 1 of the games that spooked us. If you like what we're doing, please go ahead and check us out on Spotify, on Discord, on Facebook, on YouTube, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast and social media content of choice. And with that, bye.
Oh!
That makes so much more
God
sense.
damn it, number 3! Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, okay.
Get going.